These days, seldom does a trend stick around for longer than a few weeks before a neologism replaces the one before it, permeating the halls of TikTok or Instagram and causing all of us to second-guess what was once considered mainstream, only to then swap a coveted wardrobe staple for the latest passing fad. Still, certain exceptions prevail. Even today, one of the most unshakable cultural signifiers has been the mono, piercing, more precisely, and befuddling on which ear it's placed and what it says about your sexuality. Pre-Y2K and beyond, it's been socially understood that wearing one earring on the right ear means someone is gay, the left straight. Despite recent data and celebrities supporting otherwise, the demagogic proverb left is right and right is wrong has been a whisper placed upon gay and straight men and their piercers for decades. No one really seems to know where the adage originated, or which side means what. It is, however, a uniquely American conundrum. Lyst, a company that tracks online shoppers' behavior, claims searches for men's earrings are up by 147% since last year. See Lil Nas X, Leto, Harry Styles, Bad Bunny. No longer is it that big of a deal that a cisgender, occasionally heterosexual man wears jewelry, not even those flashy beaded bracelets. It was once even more vogue and still is to have multiple piercings in one ear. Yet further findings like the fact that mono earring queries are popular suggest many are curious about different types of piercings, specifically embellishing one ear only, proof that a single earring and which lobe it lives on can say everything or nothing at all. The concept of men wearing jewelry is an old one, dating back thousands of years. In fact, most royals were adorned in as many gems and as much gold as women, if not more, depending on the occasion, making the sight of guys wearing pearls today, for instance, more a reflection of where we've come from than where we're headed. But the whole gay ear thing has always been ironic considering its ever-changing position throughout history. It's true, though, that dropping a hairpin, the precursor to signaling, a way to drop a subtle hint to someone that you, too, were gay, was both harmful and helpful. During the Stonewall era, there weren't any protections for LGBTQ+ people, so signaling could out someone depending on their whereabouts. Yet it helped earlier generations of queer people find each other in the crowd. A 1991 article in the New York Times perpetuating the stereotype seemed to solidify the historical hearsay as the widely known style taboo many can't quit today. See also very famous mono earring wearers between then and now: Harrison Ford, Michael Jordan, Mr. Clean, etc. And in the Cafe Disco episode of The Office, Kelly can be seen piercing Andy in a cutaway as he asks, "Are you sure that's not the gay ear?" But in the book Sexuality and Gender in Post-Communist Eastern Europe and Russia, editors Edmund J. Coleman and Theo Sandfort discuss the fact that straight Russian men would often mark their first sexual act with women by piercing their right ear as a way to ward off unwanted advances from gay men. And according to ancient Chinese belief, the left earring meaning also symbolized that a person's life had been endangered, and to prevent a recurrence, an earring was worn to prevent bad luck. China has since banned men's earrings outright. Casting director and industry stalwart James Scully remembers his first encounter with the phenomenon in the late 70s. "As we were driving, my mother and aunt were staring at this man out of the window, slowing the car down, almost acting like he was some sort of creature because his right ear was pierced," he recalls. Any piercing during that time, Scully insists, would have been an act of defiance anyway, pre- or post-punk era. In college, Phil Oakey, the Human League, had both of his ears pierced, which really threw people for a loop because he was straight despite giving off the gayest vibe in the world. Eyebrows, noses, tongues, nipples, and belly buttons would soon become even louder ways to make a statement. On current rotation, Scully posits, is the septum piercing, equal parts rejection and an invitation, rooted in pleasure and pain. Nowadays, everyone is too influenced. A lot of people don't know why they're dressed the way they are. What I think is missing with this generation is that no one has enough context. When I see someone who is pierced and I find it sexy or threatening, or it's an obvious part of a more distinct and total look, I get it. But when Harry Styles does it, it's a hot take on a generation who don't really need an ear piercing to talk for them, who weren't similarly reared on fashion as a conduit to freedom. In other words, if you walk up to a young adult on the street and ask them who they are, they'll probably just tell you.